End of the month means roadmaps. Learn all about them right here, right now. Greetings petrolheads and welcome to romrom.net, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing, and to a regular news roundup. Thanks for watching, my name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. Again, lots of stuff going on in sim racing and we are in the middle of it. In 1 week we start our mini racing cup for those who, like me, are severely challenged, otherwise known as crappy drivers. Check further details in the news that start now. It's the end of the month and it's the time CW30 and rFactor publish their roadmap updates. At least this time rFactor didn't sneak it in after our news was uploaded, so we can inform you now. Ticking the version clock to call it something from 1 to 1.4 to 1 to 2.0, this version brings one new track and two new configurations to existing tracks. The new track being Salvador Street Circuit, the configs being one alternate layout to Cascais and stock car and GP variants to Interlagos. As we said in other news, the Porsche RSR 3.0 from 1974 comes into the sim and has been added to the GT Classic series. While I'm not personally a fan of Porsches, having driven more than my fair share of them in real life, I understand why many people love this one and this Porsche era so much. Other changes done in the sim in this past month and released with this major update are the disabling of collisions on formation laps and rolling starts, something that, for example, Assetto Corsa Competizione has always had. rFactor have also fixed the issues they had with the championship editor. They've also done many small changes in the UI and the UHD departments, but in between this all, the saving of replays must have gone under, as we could not find any way to do so. With regards to physics, the department of always tampering and fiddling within rFactor has yet again revised tire treads for a lot of cars and classes, has revised braking for GTS and others, body drag coefficients, inertia values, 2 settings, suspension rates, throttle maps. If you want to know every detail, follow the link to their update information in our description, because as always they have polished a metric ton of details regarding the physics, always in search of the better simulation. With regards to the AI, the changes are not so many as with regards to the physics, but one important thing has been to make the AI aware of when fuel consumption is set to off, so it does not take that into account for its race strategy. And some changes in the physics for AI-driven cars, as well as a general calibration of all the AI. I, for one, welcome the dictatorship of our robot overlords and hope they regale me with a long life so I forever can bask in their glory. Of course, rFactor have also fixed bugs and added seasonal foliage to some tracks, especially Montreal and Virginia. And moving on to vehicles, when you now shift gears in a kart that lets you do that, you'll see an animation and some other corrections to different cars. Snowrunner is inching ever so near to the year 2 and its 5th season. And those who got Snowrunner from Steam can now also enjoy the public test server, and if we understood the information Saber gave to us, it may soon be possible to crossplay between the Steam and the Epic and Windows Game Store versions of the game. With crossplay among all of the platforms the game has been published for, planned soon after that. Sometime before the end of September, Season 5 will start, which will be called Build and Dispatch and will be based in the Don region with 2 new zones and of course further new contracts and missions. The Don, by the way, is the 5th longest river in Europe, flowing from central Russia to southern Russia. So expect a lot of bridges and crossings, and I suppose if you thought crossing the river in Michigan was hairy, it'll be even more difficult on this mighty river. Also, with Season 5, there will come dynamic ramp add-ons for all players to be able to transport vehicles more easily. If you always wanted to get your hands on Need for Speed, the Dirt franchise or the new Grid game, EA is selling selected games of those franchises on Steam for heavily reduced prices. See the link in our description. We can only recommend Dirt Rally 2, and as what is sold here is not even the Game of the Year edition, we cannot recommend anything of this sale. Get the Dirt Rally 2 Game of the Year edition on the next regular Steam sale. And yes, there is a reason why the new Grid game is already at pennies for the dollar, not even 2 years after it came out. You have been warned. A week from today, we are starting our mini races in Monza Junior course. The Mini Cup is meant to be a place where beginners in sim racing or in multiplayer racing can dip their toes in. All the races are going to be in easy and short versions of different Assetto Corsa tracks. And we are going to use the Mini mod, which is easy and fun to drive. The important thing about these races is not the competition, but the fun, the feeling of community that comes from racing together. It's going to be very laid back, it's going to be concentrated on the fun of it, it's going to be a good place for either beginners or drivers who are as bad as me racing against each other. 4 races in 4 weeks, in a mini, on easy tracks. If you want to participate, just come to our Discord or join the community and the races on Just Race. And if you need an invite for Just Race, let us know in mail or in our Discord. Everyone who wants a clean and fun race is welcome. Studio 397 has released the tattoos MSV F3-02 2020. Man, what a tongue twister. As they often do, it's been released free of cost in the workshop, see the link in our description. This is the 8th tattoo Studio 397 brings to the sim, and if I remember correctly, they were all free of charge. As you may have surmised from that name, it's a Formula 3 car that it's only used in the British Championship. It came out last year, uses a 2-liter aspirated combustion engine. Studio 397 have published it with slick and wet tire compounds, and you can of course set up everything the real-life teams can set up. Moving on to the rFactor 2 roadmap. While it seems not everything is set in stone, as the build we talked about last week, see the link up there, seems to have eaten up a lot of time, they still have something to tell us about helmet updates, which now also use the lighting updates known as PBR, and for mod and skin creators they have improved the templates for helmets to make their life easier. Also, there is a new safety car planned. It will still be a Corvette, but it will be the C6 Corvette with improved graphics and a better livery. While this was not something we were expecting, it really was about time to get rid of the old safety car. For the US Americans amongst us, yes, we are talking about the Pace car. Same difference. The Pace or safety car is not the only one getting an update. The USF 2000 is also getting the PBR upgrade and some other non-disclosed tweaks. We expect the physics will have been revamped and modernized, but they are not telling. They have also revisited a whole gamut of cars. After adding the MSV F3-02 2020 to the existing Roadster last month, they decided they are going to update all tattoos, and that means graphics, sound and physics, so it must have been a lot of work and coordinated effort to get it all right. Also, they tease yet another track that is getting the PBR treatment. As they shared no images, we cannot even speculate which it is going to be. They also remind us they are still working on showing shadows more realistically, but are not near to concluding their work on them. There is an issue we have not encountered ourselves yet, but it seems that the sound system of rFactor 2 breaks down in some specific occasions, and the developers have received enough reports of it to be sure it's not a fluke. While they have a workaround for it, set audio effect to 64 in the audio screen and restart rFactor 2, they are working on a real solution. It is the nature of software development that there isn't a clear time frame for the solution of a bug. For us broadcasters, the overlay improvements are always interesting, giving us also ideas what to include or try to set up for races with other sims. One of those improvements is setting up an automatic cycle through some of the informations which you can activate and time yourself. Quite cool. Also, they plan on improving and debugging the driver swap abilities of the sim, making it even more interesting for endurance races. And we hope our channel makes the joy of sim racing interesting to you, so check the playlist to the left or the video to the right. Until next time, save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other on the podium.